Hi, it's Tuesday night at 6:30, so it's time for What We're Reading. Tonight, I am very honored to have a local author with us tonight. Susie, can you believe I did that? Susie Finkbeiner, Christian author, is with us. Hi, Susie. I have some of her books at the Amy Van Andel Library that we have bought brand new copies of for our brand new library. This one, can you see Stories That Bind Us? This one takes place in Michigan, where Susie has lived her entire life. Susie, this one's in a made-up town in Michigan, you were telling me?
Yes, it is. Yes.
In your
I like
house.
to make up towns.
And then I have started this one. So what I'm reading is Susie Finkbeiner's A Cup of Dust. I'm terrible at lining these up. And this is a historical fiction that takes place in Oklahoma in the Dust Bowl. So you grew up in Michigan. How much research did it take you to write about Oklahoma Dust Bowl?
Well, honestly, about 20 years. um, when I first read The Grapes of Wrath, I became obsessed with the Dust Bowl. And so from then on, I read everything I could about it, every article, watched every documentary. And then it was 20 years between then and the time I started writing A Cup of Dust.
Wow. And this one, now the first one I started reading is about little Pearl, who is adorable and plucky. And just very, it's so nice to read about characters who are just so wholesome. And, she's just a good little girl, but she meets Eddie. And I won't, which is kind of a wrench in her little life. So I'm not going to give away any of the secrets of the story, but it was very fascinating to read twists and turns. And if you like historic fiction and you like Christian fiction, I recommend this series. Now, is this a series? Because I'm just reading the first one, but I know there's more. You've got Trail of Crumbs. Is this Pearl as well?
Yes. It is, yes.
So Pearl continues. We know Pearl survives at least.
Yes. And there is a third book. Okay. There's a third called A Song of Home.
Yay. Okay, so that's great. For those of you who love those kind of series, very wholesome, like I said, in the Dust Bowl. It's very sweet and a nice read. It restores your faith in humanity, which is great. But Susie, tell me, you have a new one coming out. So
I do.
Give us a little preview of that.
Okay, this is just an advanced reader's copy.
Okay.
And it's called, it's so shiny. The Nature of Small Birds.
The Nature of Small Birds. Now, when is that coming out, Susie?
July 6th. So soon.
Yes, but I hear that you can maybe get a little win something if you pre-order it through Baker Bookhouse. Is that right?
Yes. So if you pre-order from Baker Bookhouse, you will get like a little present, very small present. Everyone will. And also, I'm putting in 5 golden tickets to 5 random pre-orders, and each golden ticket is worth a prize.
Oh, exciting! Okay, so if you're interested in Susie's writing, I would pre-order through Baker because I would want a golden ticket, and not just because I'm a Willy Wonka fan.
Well, this is partly set in 1975, so I thought having a little tie-in with Willy Wonka would work.
So what's the new one about?
It actually has 3 different timelines. So it's set in 1975, 1988, and 2013. And it is about a family who adopts a Vietnamese child at the end of the U.S. involvement in Vietnam, in what was called the Operation Baby Lift, when 3,000 Vietnamese orphans were brought from Saigon to the United States, Australia, and Canada. And this is the story of their family. And I realized I couldn't tell that story just in 1975. I needed to expand it because adoption is lifetime. And so I really wanted to represent that.
Great. Oh, that sounds fabulous. Now, do you go back, how far do you go back into the, and you said 75 isn't enough, so where do you go from there?
Well, that's when it starts shortly before they adopt her. And
Okay.
then in 1988, then she's a teenager.
Oh, okay, so you're moving forward. Gotcha.
Yeah. And then 2013, she's in her 40s and looking for her birth family.
Oh, fascinating. Now, how much research did you do on this one? Not 20 years, but
So not 20 years ago. Um, I had to do quite a bit of research because I've researched the Vietnam War quite a bit, particularly for my novel All Manner of Things. But it's that post Vietnam era that I didn't know a whole lot about because I was very small. Well, I was born in 1978, so mathematicians, you can figure it out. But so a lot of the Vietnam War impacted my childhood because my dad's a veteran.
oh,
So, I grew up hearing about it and seeing it in National Geographics, how your grandma has like 5,000 and you just look at all of them. And so I had to go back and kind of relearn what actually happened, not just reading it as a child, but as an adult. And it was fascinating.
did you get any firsthand knowledge from your dad?
Actually, my dad, when I was researching for All Manner of Things, which is set in 1967, he wrote his memoirs. He's also a writer, and he
Oh,
wrote his entire memoir of his service in Vietnam.
okay. So you
So I
had
could
heard
research
that.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fascinating. So you write some histories, which, as we've talked about, contain a lot of research, and then you wrote stories that bind us, which is also touches on adoption, I think, doesn't it?
It's more of a child needing to be cared for a short amount of time.
Okay.
Um, my protagonist is Betty, and she is a new widow at a very young age, in her early 40s. And her estranged sister returns with her son, and he needs to be cared for a while. And Betty finds her purpose in helping little Hugo, that's his name,
Oh,
through telling him stories.
okay. So which do you like better? Do you like to write the histories or the modern?
Oh,
Is it
I
freeing?
really don't.
Have to be historically accurate? I mean, when you're
Well,
writing a modern tale?
I think that it's more intimidating to write in the 60s and until now because people are still alive and they will tell you when you're wrong.
I would bet they do.
One of the benefits, though, is that I could email my mom or call my mom and say, "Hey, in 67, what was your hair like?" Or
She probably had
I could
pictures.
watch Leave It to Beaver. Yeah, because everything was on TV then. Everything.
Oh, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
a great resource, though. I don't know if people talk to their parents and their grandparents about life the way it was then, but if you do, I would encourage you to record it.
Yeah.
Because that is wonderful legacy to keep. No, I drag Sara on board with us tonight as well, Susie. Sara from Cascade, and ask her to prepare some books. Sara, what are you reading?
Well, I just finished two. I'm sort of leaning in here, so you see my face really big. But some inspirational fiction. They're both, neither of them are historical. There's quite a wide range of subgenres and inspirational, but this first one is entitled A Long Time Coming by Robin W. Pearson.
Oh,
She
right.
is amazing.
Yes, I chose this one because she won the Christie Award for first novel with this title. This was in the last year, so I figured it had to be good, and yeah, it was. I did enjoy it. Um, it's a family story. It's Beatrice, the several characters, but it starts with Beatrice Agnew, who is coming to the end of a long life of hard work and struggle in North Carolina. She became a mother for the first time at the age of 15 and went on to raise 7 children with Henton, who left shortly after the last one was born. And so the story begins with her remembering the night that she finally told her children's father to leave and not come back. So at this point in the story, all the children are grown on their own with children of their own, and they all have some rather difficult memories of how hard their childhood was, how hard she was on them, and how she made them work. Now she's been diagnosed with a terminal illness, and she's decided not to seek treatment, and it's even a bit of a struggle to get her to tell her children what's going on. Around the same time, her oldest granddaughter, Evelyn, is having her own difficulties. She's just discovered that her husband, Kevin, several months ago got way too close to his secretary, and she's furious enough that she wants to just leave him without even telling him the big news that she's pregnant. And so while she's thinking about this, she goes to visit her grandmother, Beatrice. While she's there, she finds a box of old letters that were sent from Henton to Beatrice and also to the 7 children that were obviously never given to them. So Beatrice is catching Evelyn snooping around in her stuff, becomes very angry. And after a short time, they work this out. Evelyn goes to stay with Beatrice while she's, kind of angry with Kevin. And then Beatrice decides to individually send those letters on to the 7 children who never got to read them, along with a letter that she will write to them to kind of sort of reconcile and tell them things that she wants them to know. So the middle section of the book is those letters that she writes and that Henton has written. Each of those chapters has a vignette from the childhood that really colored their adulthood, and also just a response to receiving these letters. And the last section of the book brings everyone together and shows reconciliation. There was also a real surprise in the book that I did not see coming, but once I got to it, it really made a lot.
Don't give it away.
So I think this book will appeal to anyone who loves contemporary stories of families with secrets and complicated relationships. It's inspirational, but it's got a little bit of grit to it too. So I think a wide-ranging audience. So
well, I started out this. Oh, thank you, Sarah. I started this conversation with Susie talking about inspirational, because at KDL we call these books, and we call Susie's books, inspirational fiction. But in a lot of the cases, what we're talking about is Christian fiction. And I asked her if she had any problem with that label, and she did not. Sarah, would you find that an apt label for the books that you're sharing with us today?
Yeah, both of them, they were both found in the inspirational section, and they were both Christian based,
Right.
So,
and we are going to be expanding our inspirational section to include other religions as well, which I think is, coming. But for the most part, right now, you'll see them as Christian fiction. And so, Susie, does it bother you when we talk about other people's books? Because we know that you're the best.
You read this one too.
I need to tell you, Robin is a friend of mine, the author that Sarah spoke about. So I just talked to her 2 weeks ago on a Zoom call, and I can't wait to tell her that just in a conversation, her book came up. That made me so happy.
Oh, good.
Many of us are friends. Many of us in the Christian fiction world are really, really good friends. It's a small little world.
Community, yeah. Must be hard to break in, I would think. You guys are so good. Yes. Okay, what else did you bring for us, Miss Sarah?
The second one, another subgenre, and I had not heard this term before, but this was a finalist for the Christie Award in the category of visionary fiction, which covered visionary fiction, like fantasy, apocalyptic.
Okay.
Saying that word, but
End times fiction, really.
yeah. So this is more of a fantasy setting. It's kind of fantasy medieval. And in this world, the premise is there are 7 great houses: the house of dreamers, water, fire and earth, wisdom, healing, light, and courage. And long ago, each of these houses was given a special gift that was intended to be used by the people, the family of the house, to work together for the good of all. And these gifts are only transferred either through birth or through marriage. As soon as you marry someone, all their, gift comes to you. So the House of Dreaming, which is Ravenwood, has kept its gifts protected by marrying only people from lesser households who wouldn't be able to inherit the gift. And so this is what Celine, who's 18 years old, is going to have to do as she comes of age and learns from her mother what it means to have the gift of dream walking. And when she learns what the gift of dream walking is, she's horrified. It means that she's able to enter people's dreams in the form of a raven as they're sleeping. But her mother instructs her that the purpose of this is so that she can learn their greatest fears and then manipulate them in their dreams and in life. She can even make them die of fear. And she learns that her mother had actually done this as a necessary way for the House of Ravenwood to stay in power. So when Celine learns that she feels terrible, this is not what she wanted. She can't believe that she's expected to do this. She also can't believe that this is why the gift would have been given to her family originally. That she knows that if she refuses, the gift will be transferred to her younger sister, who has a less sensitive conscience. So that's kind of the setup. And then we meet some other characters from the other houses, and the main one is Damien, who's the only survivor young man of the House of Waters. But he has a caring heart for his people, and he wants to do good with his gift. So Damien is invited to Rook Castle by Celine's father, who was a friend of Damien's father before he died. The purpose is kind of to try to reunite the houses. Here's where he meets Celine and the rest of the family, and her mother instructs him, break into Damien's dreams so that you can learn about him and manipulate him, and so we can wield our power over him. But when she enters Damien's dream, she's caught off guard by this unexpected light that she finds in his dreams and in his soul. So she can't do it. She can't hurt him. It comes to light that Damien wants the 7 houses to reunite to fight against a common enemy, but there's not consensus about this among the houses. They all kind of want their own power. And the political landscape grows darker and darker, and it seems, it's not very safe for Damien. And also for Celine, as she begins to decide whether she's going to use her gifts this way or not. And the story ends with a lead-in right to the second book, which I've not read yet, but it is a trilogy. And I felt like the good and evil in this book were very well developed. Celine's mother was just this really evil, horrible person, and her father was really a wonderful person who'd kind of been trapped into this marriage, but is now trying to do good and have influence on his daughter. So overall, good. Not necessarily what you think of as, it doesn't look like an inspirational, but it's very much light and darkness in this book. So that's my second.
It sounds like a great book to recommend to teens.
Yes, it would be
that fantasy power kind of thing.
Yeah. In fact, halfway through, I just checked to make sure I didn't get it out of the teen section, because it really would have fit there.
For those precocious teens who want to, whose reading level's a bit high, that would be a good one to recommend.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm going to encourage everybody one more time to come into the Amy Van Andel Library. We are now open, and a lot of our books that we have on our shelves, we're lucky to have some brand new copies, including brand new copies of Susie's books, which you should check out. This is the first one in the series, and this one was really great. And don't forget to pre-order through Baker Bookhouse her brand new book. Hold that up for us again, Susie. The Nature of Small Birds. Yeah. So because you want to find that golden ticket. Well, it's so nice having you on here tonight, Susie. We love local authors. And we were just talking before we started the show, Sara, Susie, and I, about what talent we have in West Michigan. The West Michigan writing community is fabulous, and the musical community is wonderful here. And so, Susie, do you have some kind of group that you meet with writers in Michigan? in West Michigan?
Actually, every October, I go to the Breathe Writers Conference. It's in Grand Rapids, and it's become kind of like a family, and it's a big family reunion of writers. So it's really fun, and we learn so much. And throughout the year, we all touch base with each other, and sometimes grab coffee when we're able to. And it's just nice to have a community. So if there are any people who want to know what writing is about, or if they feel lonely as a writer, that is a good place to go because you meet so many people that are like you and you learn a lot about the writing world.
Oh, great tips too. Thank you, Susie. Thank you for being on. Everyone, please come back tomorrow night when we are going to get Terry DeBoer, the famous weather person here in Grand Rapids, and she's going to talk about the book that she has written, and I can't wait to hear about it. And I think she's expecting that to come out this fall. So please join us next Tuesday at 6:30. Thank you to Sara and Susie tonight. Everybody have a great night.
Thanks, Penny.